Psalm 50. The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel. And I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, but the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, and thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
In this video, which is just over 2 minutes long, I want to show you how to create this.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopefully got that pushing his word and truth. And it's a series across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopefully the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh by Shema Shah. And what I want to get into, just expound, on what's transpiring over there in the Middle East and what does that mean according to prophecy. you know, and how does this thing play out into this world's war, okay, that's prophesied to happen according to the scriptures. Okay, and one thing about it, when you go into the scriptures, they get detail about this third world's war, you know, and all these prophecies are connected together. All right, all these nations are connected and tied to one another. All right, on the global network. Okay, some, you know, economically, some militarily, some both. Okay, some religiously. Okay, but they're all connected in some way, form, or fashion, and it's gonna tie in, all right, to prophecy concerning this third world war. Now, let's get a few precepts, and then I have a video to play. Okay, this one is found on this militant group called Hezbollah. Okay, you know, because we hearing all these different names, Hamas, you know, Hezbollah, you know, the Houthi rebels, and all these different things, and you know, we're just gonna bring some understanding to it. You know, and try to make it concise as possible. You know, getting straight to the point. Now, this is the book of Isaiah 46. All right, and 49. I mean, it's like Isaiah 46:9. It says, "Remember the former things are old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure." Okay, and this war is all a part of the counsel of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. When we read prophecy, this is pretty much decrees that the Lord, you know, has set to happen in the earth. You know, and we see, you know, the events leading up, okay, to the fulfillment of the Lord's counsel in the earth, the Lord doing his pleasure in the earth, okay? And war is a major part of it, all right, because there's two major prophecy left, which is the war in the sea hip, all right, which is going to cause the famine, great death, pestilence, you know, it's going to bring those things about, all right? So, what we have now, what you see, brothers, which I'll get that precept, and then we'll go to the video and expound on it, because you know, we see these conflicts happening and we see things happening, you know, especially with Israel. You know, anytime a missile is shot in Israel, you know, the world stops, and you know, people, you know, oh, is this the end? You know, what did this mean? You know, they know it's something biblical, okay? But what we have to understand, all right, is that, matter of fact, let me get this. I think it's 51. All right, what we have to understand, all right, specific things have to happen, you know, before we see a full-fledged war happen in the earth. Okay, the World War III. Now, those Israelis do play a big part of it. Okay, but what we seeing now with them and Hamas, that's propaganda. You know, I watched a little bit of the news yesterday just to see, you know, just the local news just to see what they were saying, and it was nothing but propaganda. You know, I can't speak too much on it, but it's propaganda. All right, there's no major threat to those small hats. Okay, they're just pushing propaganda. All right, to be justified in what they want to do. You know, which is to pretty much confiscate more land. All right, from the Palestinians. Now, in Jeremiah 51:46, it says, "And least your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, all right, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler." Now we are in the phase where we're just hearing rumors, you know, different rumors. You know, even now, you know, Iran's name is being thrown around, and Hezbollah. You know, you usually hear Iran and Hezbollah together, and we're gonna go into why you hear those two mentioned together, Iran and Hezbollah. Okay, so we in the phase where we're hearing rumors. Okay, year after year, but eventually it's gonna lead to true violence. Okay, where it's gonna be real violence, real, you know, some real casualties. All right, thousands, tens of thousands. Okay, and ruler against ruler. Okay, different nation against different nation. All right, this is what Yahweh Shah was speaking of. So we're seeing the build up to those things, and we're going to go into how all these things are tied together. What we're seeing now and how they tie, okay, into this third world war. Okay, now, let's go on with something else. I believe that's it. But yeah, I want to go to this video. Now, I want to show this first. Now, what you have to understand is Iran, you had a revolutionary war happen in Iran, and they removed the puppet leader that was set up by the West, and that happened, all right, in the 70s going into the 80s. Now, I just want to show this guy. Now, this guy was the leader of Iran, okay, Muhammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, okay. So you had this guy. He was the leader of Iran, okay. And when you read it, it says Shah of Iran from 1941 to 1979, who maintained a pro-Western, okay. So he was with, okay, those Israelis and the Western powers, okay. He's pretty much a puppet set up. It said who maintained a pro-Western foreign policy and foster economic development in Iran, okay, because he was tied in with the beast, okay. But then what you had that revolution, and they got that guy out of there, okay, and they replaced him with this man, which we're going to see, all right. They're going to go into this man, okay, who became the leader in the 70s, all right, Kamani, all right, and he was anti-Israel and all right, the West, okay, and then you're going to get the birth of Hezbollah. So he's going to explain those things. I just wanted to, bring that out, and then, the video explain everything else, all right, and we'll stop and, hit points throughout the video, okay. So let's go here. All right, so it's a YouTube video. What is Hezbollah?
It's like something out of an action movie, a shadowy organization with global.
All right, so I'm gonna let this play.
It's like something out of an action movie. A shadowy organization with global reach and powerful backers shocks the world with a string of brutal terror attacks. Want to guess what I'm talking about? I'll give you a hint. They're based in Lebanon, they're stronger than the Lebanese army, and they're obsessed with Israel, and not in a good way. That's right. I'm talking about Hezbollah. So who are these guys? Or more specifically, who is this guy, and why does he say stuff like this? And why is a group based in Lebanon so bent on destroying Israel? The answer is a little more complicated than you might expect. So get comfortable and let me draw back the curtain on the world's most powerful non-state actor. The story of Hezbollah starts somewhere you might not expect. A non-Arab country over 1,000 miles away, one that used to be Israel's closest ally in the Middle East. Got any guesses? That would be Iran. Hard to believe that Iran and Israel were once BFFs. But that warm relationship took a serious nosedive when a firebrand Shia cleric known as Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini took control of Iran in what he called the Islamic Revolution. Ayatollah Khomeini had lots of strong opinions about lots of different things, including America, which he called the Big Satan, and Israel, alternately known as the Little Satan or the cancerous gland of the Middle East. Charming, right? But Ayatollah Khomeini wasn't just about name-calling. See, the Ayatollah had a vision, one he'd been cultivating for decades. He believed that God had appointed him to export the Islamic Revolution and spread his particular brand of faith and politics throughout the Muslim world. And where was the best place for him to start? You got it, Lebanon. Let me explain why. In the 70s, Lebanon was a mess. The PLO, or Palestine Liberation Organization, had just been expelled from Jordan and set up shop in South Lebanon. And very few people were happy about this state of affairs because the PLO inflamed existing sectarian tensions in Lebanon, tensions that burst into a brutal civil war in 1975. But you know who was delighted by the PLO's presence in a tiny, divided country? You guessed it, Iran. Here's the thing about the PLO. Since their inception in 1964, they'd been attacking Israel relentlessly. And in the 70s, the attacks came from their HQ in southern Lebanon. I'm talking hijackings, the murder of Olympic athletes, massive indiscriminate rocket barrages, a massacre of school children. It was bad. Well, for Khomeini though, it was all good. This was his thinking. He'd team up with the Palestinian terror groups and get his fighters into their training camps. The Palestinians would be happy to get support for their cause. Khomeini would get decent military training for his fighters and a foothold in Lebanon. It was a win-win situation for everyone, but Israel. And you'll see in a minute that Ayatollah was planning something big, and the PLO was only a small part of his plans for Lebanon.
All right, so to sum it up real quick, all right, what you had Iran in the 80s, late 70s, 80s, get this anti-West, leader, all right, Rudy Khamenei. And what you had in Lebanon, which is right above, Israel, the land of Israel, you had pretty much a civil war. And he took this opportunity, all right, to back, PLO, all right, was a Palestine, militant group. He took a chance to back that group and also add troops to it and add funding and training to those troops. Okay. So Hezbollah is an Iranian creation from the ground up, as we finna go into it. All right. Hezbollah is an Iranian, creation. And that's why when we hear the news, we'll hear, them speak about Iran and Hezbollah together. Okay. it's a little bro, big bro relationship. Okay. Now let it play.
The PLO were useful, but they were secular and Sunni. They had little interest in Khomeini's brand of Shia Islam. You know who was, though? The large population of Lebanese Shia Muslims who were sick and tired of the status quo. The Shia had spent decades getting the short end of the political stick from the powerful and connected Christian bloc. And they were not too happy about the PLO turning their towns into a war zone, especially when Israel came to visit in 1978. Khomeini saw this discontent as fertile ground for his Islamic revolution. So the Ayatollah's forces invested in the long-neglected Shia population, providing food, healthcare, infrastructure, social and religious institutions, even welfare programs. All the things that the Lebanese government had failed to give its Shias. And in return, most of Lebanon's Shias repaid the Iranian forces with loyalty. Loyalty that would soon pay off big time. So that's the background. Hang on, because we're about to get to the good stuff. 1982, the year of Epcot, Thriller, E.T., and one of the biggest messes the Middle East has ever seen. Remember, by 1982, Israel had suffered years of PLO terror attacks coming from Lebanon, including the June 3rd assassination attempt on Israel's ambassador to England that left the man permanently paralyzed. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. The PLO splinter group responsible for the assassination attempt probably didn't anticipate Prime Minister Menachem Begin's response. Less than 72 hours after the attack on the ambassador, IDF tanks had rolled into southern Lebanon, eager to impose a 25-mile buffer zone between PLO bases and northern Israel. But things got very messy very fast. Because as we said, Lebanon was deep into a civil war, and soon Israel was deep into two. This played right into Khomeini's hands, because after years of investing in Lebanon's Shia, the time was right to launch a new Shia guerrilla force in southern Lebanon. He called it Hezbollah, or in English, the Party of God. It's a pretty grandiose name, right? That's because its founders had pretty grandiose plans. And it didn't take long for this new militia to start flexing. In November of 1982, Hezbollah sent a suicide bomber to the IDF HQ in Tyre, killing 76 Israelis and 27 Lebanese. They targeted the American embassy in Beirut next, killing 63 people in April of 1983. That October, they set off nearly 20,000 pounds of explosives outside the U.S. Marine and French Army barracks, killing 299 people. That's right. I'm talking about Hezbollah. This was his thinking. E.T.
Yep, so lock I ain't mean to take it back. But yeah, just to touch again. So you see Hezbollah, and pretty much these are the ones that are noted. Okay, Hezbollah is the militant group noted for these suicide bombings, to begin those suicide bombings. Because these Ishmaelite and Elamites is crazy as hell. Okay, these Arabs, Arab goes into a mixture. So you have Ishmael, Elam, some Syrians, in the mix. Okay, but Hezbollah, these niggas is crazy, man. Okay, and they loyal as hell to Iran, and they strategic. They're extremely strategic. Okay, and they gonna be a problem, when they go down. All right, and like I say, Hamas is a non-factor. All right, Hamas is pretty much a little play group, toy soldiers. Okay, that's at the disposal of the IDF, or the Israeli Defense, the Israeli Defense Forces. So like the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF. Okay, and they use them for political purpose, like what we see now for propaganda. Okay, but they're not a formidable opponent. Okay, but Hezbollah, all right, and for sure Iran is a different story. Okay, now Hezbollah couldn't, just go toe to toe and beat these Israelis, all right, but they could do a lot of damage. They're capable of doing a lot of damage, and the Israelis seen it in 2006, man. Okay, look up their war. Okay, so yeah, he's just going into how Hezbollah just was very they got a very, very strong hatred towards them Israelis, man, and they get stronger every year. All right, he's gonna go into it.
And one of the biggest messes the Middle East has ever seen. Remember, by 1982, Israel had suffered years of PLO terror attacks coming from Lebanon, including the June 3rd assassination attempt on Israel's ambassador to England that left the man permanently paralyzed. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. The PLO splinter group responsible for the assassination attempt probably didn't anticipate Prime Minister Menachem Begin's response. Less than 72 hours after the attack on the ambassador, IDF tanks had rolled into southern Lebanon, eager to impose a 25-mile buffer zone between PLO bases and northern Israel. But things got very messy very fast. Because as we said, Lebanon was deep into a civil war, and soon Israel was deep into two. This played right into Khomeini's hands, because after years of investing in Lebanon's Shia, the time was right to launch a new Shia guerrilla force in southern Lebanon. He called it Hezbollah, or in English, the Party of God. It's a pretty grandiose name, right? That's because its founders had pretty grandiose plans. And it didn't take long for this new militia to start flexing. In November of 1982, Hezbollah sent a suicide bomber to the IDF HQ in Tyre, killing 76 Israelis and 27 Lebanese. They targeted the American embassy in Beirut next, killing 63 people in April of 1983. That October, they set off nearly 20,000 pounds of explosives outside the U.S. Marine and French Army barracks, killing 299 people. I could go on, but you're probably getting the picture. Hezbollah and its primary backer Iran meant business. And their business, as per their 1985 manifesto, was as follows: to expel the Americans, the French, and their allies from Lebanon. To bring the Phalanges, a Christian Lebanese political party and paramilitary, to justice. To permit all the sons of our people to determine their future. We call upon all of them to pick the option of Islamic government. Oh, and to destroy Israel. Or in their words, our struggle will end only when this entity is obliterated. Pretty straightforward and very dangerous. It took 15 bloody, miserable years, but Lebanon's civil war finally ended in 1990. The truce that ended the war demanded that all camps put down their weapons, except for two. The first was the Lebanese army, and I bet you can guess the second. That's right. Hezbollah was allowed to keep its weapons and to continue its struggle to obliterate Israel. Think about that. A guerrilla fighting force, founded and funded by another country with a pretty insane manifesto, was being treated like a legitimate army. And that's not all, because what happened next would change the entire Middle East forever. After the war, Hezbollah focused on a new goal, controlling the Lebanese parliament. Within a decade, Hezbollah was a dominant military and political force in Lebanon and a major headache for the rest of the world, including, of course, Israel. They kept up the offensive by striking the IDF on the front lines, firing rockets at Israeli cities and towns, and attacking Israelis abroad. Israel is not the type of country to suffer threats idly. But increasingly, hunting Hezbollah operatives felt like a game of whack-a-mole, or whatever they call it in Israel. Israel would assassinate a high-ranking Hezbollah leader, Hezbollah would celebrate this new martyr for the cause, and then they'd replace him. Which is exactly what happened with Hezbollah's Secretary General in 1992. Hossein Abbas al-Musawi was not the best guy. Israel hoped that by assassinating him, it would weaken Hezbollah. But that's not what happened, because Hezbollah chose someone real special to replace al-Musawi, and he made al-Musawi look like a teddy bear. That's right, our friend from the start of the video, super fanatic Shia cleric Hassan Nasrallah. You know, the guy saying that Israel is a cancerous tumor. He swiftly turned Hezbollah's top priority away from consolidating power in Lebanon and towards attacking Israel. But it wasn't enough for Hezbollah to hammer the north of Israel with rockets, or to launch attacks on the thin security zone Israel had set up in southern Lebanon, or to pick off members of the southern Lebanon army, which was allied with Israel. No. Hezbollah had global plans. In 1992, the terror group activated sleeper cells all around the world. They attacked an ambassador in Turkey, a Jewish community center in Argentina, killing 90, a tour bus in Bulgaria full of Israelis. And even though Israel completed its withdrawal from Lebanon in 2000, Hezbollah has continued its obsession with the Jewish state. Their new manifesto, released in 2009, states, "We categorically reject any compromise with Israel or recognizing its legitimacy. This position is definitive, even if everyone recognizes Israel." And yes, they were petty enough to put Israel in quotes.
And they put Israel in quotes because they know them ain't the people. Okay? Well, Hezbollah pretty much put it out there like, look, we ain't got no talks for them guys, man. Okay, we ain't got no compromise. Okay? And they put Israel in quotes because they know that's not the people, man. Okay? And it's just further proof that this is not the people because this is happening, man. You think someone's going to have a manifesto against us in our kingdom, man? Shooting rockets on us in our kingdom, man? Ain't going to be no rockets, man. Okay? Well, just further proof. So I'm going to let it play on. It's almost at the end.
Petty or not, it would be a mistake to underestimate Hezbollah, which continues to get massive support from Iran. Khomeini may have died in 1989, but his vision for a global Islamic revolution outlived him. Even as Iran's economy collapses, the current Ayatollah manages to cough up an estimated $700 million for Hezbollah every year. And I bet you can guess what that money is used for. Yep, military stuff. That's a technical term. Hezbollah is estimated to have 150,000 rockets and 100,000 troops, making the once small militia larger and more powerful than the Lebanese army. And their military capability isn't limited to rockets. In 2018, the IDF destroyed a network of tunnels, one of them more than 20 stories deep, that snaked from Lebanon into Israeli territory. The tunnels, carved in places from solid rock and graffiti with slogans like "On the way to Jerusalem," provided a sobering glimpse into Hezbollah's military strategy. Had the IDF not discovered and demolished the tunnels could have been used to kidnap and or kill Israelis and to penetrate the country during a ground offensive. The tunnels may have been destroyed, but Hezbollah remains a serious threat to Israeli lives. The group is battle-hardened, having cut its teeth on the battlefields of Syria during the Syrian civil war. And though Hassan Nasrallah might look like a jolly grandpa, he's dead serious and crystal clear about his intentions towards Israel. But there's good news, sort of.
No, there ain't no good news for you devils. You done. Okay, but so you see Hezbollah, because you hear that name thrown around as we watch the news. Well, that's Hezbollah. That's their origin, and that's their relationship to Iran. Okay, they're pretty much, a super proxy army. All right, of Iran. They're an extension of Iran right there on the borders of those Israelis, man. Okay, so now let's tie everything together in prophecy. Okay, we speak of the least of the flock, drawing them out. Okay, let's tie that together. Let's tie that in with everything. I'm going to this war. See, specific things have to happen. All right. Now we go here and let's get to the point. This is all right. This is on Jeremiah 49:20. Said, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord. All right. Remember the counsel of the Lord. Okay. The prophecy, okay, explains the counsel of the Lord and what he intends to do in the earth. All right. That he have taken against Edom, because those people in the land saying that us are Edomites. Okay. The people that rule the earth are Edomites. And his purpose, that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. And the least of the flock is those Israelis. And what are they going to draw out? They're going to draw out these major countries into this world war. Okay, because right now, what they're saying with Hamas is they're backed by Iran, and Hezbollah helped Hamas. And, so pretty much they're poking at Iran and Hezbollah. Okay, so there's going to be major conflict between Hezbollah, because you see what Hezbollah with they don't have nothing to talk about with Iran. I mean with Israelis. Iran ain't got nothing to talk about with them Israelis, man. It's up there. It's smoke. That's all it is. It's smoke with them. Okay, so when these Israelis, get bad, all right, when they get tough like that, and they start to go at Hezbollah or Iran, it's gonna be a party, man. Okay, and the retaliation from Iran and the Hezbollah is gonna be on such a scale that America is gonna have to get in. Okay, it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their desolation, or the habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry. And it says, at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Okay, so Israel is going to lead. Okay, this world, these Israelis are going to lead the earth into this war. Okay, with the way that they're moving in their region. And right now, just rumors of war. Okay, like I said, the Israelis and Hamas, that's not no real conflict. Okay, it's play. But when they start, when we start seeing direct conflict with Hezbollah, because it'll be Hezbollah first. Okay, and then you start to see Iran. Okay, and Israel is not going to be able to hold up. Okay, America gonna have to get in. All right, and when America, okay, as a matter of fact, before we get that, so these Israelis gonna draw out these nations, and it's gonna begin, okay, with Iran. Okay, and there's prophecy on how Iran will come in these latter days, man. Okay, now you go here. Okay, so the least of the flock, who are they drawing out, man? They're gonna draw out these nations. Who's gonna begin with Iran? The conflict with Iran is gonna that's gonna really, okay, stir this thing up. It says, this is 2nd Ezra 15:28 says, behold, in horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Okay, see, all these nations, all right, are going to eventually turn on the Israelis and America, man. The whole region. Okay, It says, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, and all they which hear them may fear and tremble. All right. So you're gonna see these nations in the Middle East band together, okay, against these Israelis, because them Israelis gonna do some impulsive shit over there, man. Okay, it's gonna cause a major reaction in that region. All right. It says also the Carmanians, which are all right, the Persian or Iran, raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. Now, a wild boar is a very aggressive animal. And a wild boar pretty much tries to avoid confrontation, but when left with no choice, it's a very aggressive animal that's hard to kill. Okay? And that's how the prophecy likens unto the Iranians, man. Okay? So this prophecy is about the Iranians, what, going forth. And with great power, you see, and Iran gonna shock the earth with their military power too, man. With a lot of people shocked at how Iran rocking, man. Okay? And it says, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. Okay? And if they shall turn themselves, conspire together in great power to persecute them. Okay? And he's speaking of the Israelis, all right? And then their American backup, man. Okay? So the people being deployed, the Americans being deployed in their region, they finna get their work. Okay? When them Israelis, them small hats, okay, do something impulsive, man. All right? Verse 32. And said, then these shall be troubled and keep silence, all right, through their power, and shall flee. Yeah, because hey, they're gonna have them Israelis and America, okay, troops on the back foot over there, man. Okay. So now let's go here, because it said the Iran will come forth. But guess who's gonna eventually jump in with Iran? Okay, let's go here. Let's get Ezekiel. Now, we should see, just paint the picture how all these things tie together. Okay? So you get Ezekiel 38. All right, Ezekiel 38 and 1, it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Okay? And this is speaking of Russia. Okay? And the leadership of Russia. It says, and say, thus said the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. Now, what do we see with Russia? They're getting back into their USSR spirit, all right, of being dominant in the earth. Okay, and that's why you see them pretty much occupying Ukraine, because Ukraine is the perfect country, all right, to bring Russia's military through, because it's a flat terrain. A lot of those countries over there in Eastern Europe are very mountainous. Okay, but Ukraine, is pretty flat, perfect for bringing forth the army through there, and they're already posted up in Ukraine. So we see Russia being in position, okay, to fulfill prophecy, man. And I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. Okay, and that's Russia. Okay, being heavily equipped, coming forth for war, and they're coming to their region. Okay, well, the least of the flock is going to draw them out. The valley of Jehoshaphat. Russia's going to march his way to their region, man. Okay, for war. Okay, and all this company is going to go into his company. Okay, and what's the first one that it mentions? Persia, which is Iran. Okay, so you see how all these things tie together? Okay, Ethiopia, which is those northern African countries, and you have a few African countries. Okay, A few more African countries that's siding with Russia, man. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. See those African countries that are getting out those Western leaders, the French mainly. Okay, those pro-Western. All right, because the same thing that happened in Iran when they got rid of their pro-Western leader. Okay, then who will come after them? Someone that will be rebellious against the West, man. All right, and Russia is big homie to all of them, man. Supplying, giving everybody scraps, man. Everybody. Okay, and they're all going to come forth when the least of the flock draw them out. Okay, it says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with him. And this is speaking of Gomar, speaking of Turkey. Okay, which is going to be allied with Russia and Iran. Okay, which means bad news for those Israelis. Okay, verse 8, it says, Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Okay, so when the least of the flock, all right, draw these nations out, beginning with Iran, guess what? Iran got allies, man. Okay, that's why when you go here, everybody finna head their way, man. Because guess what? Who is allied? All right. Who is allied? This is Revelation 16 and 12. Who is allied with Russia? China. Okay. Revelation 16 and 12. It says, And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the earth. Naslaki. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Okay. You're going to have China. Okay. North Korea, which is China's pretty much big homie to North Korea. Okay, and all them troops stationed in South Korea, them American troops stationed in South Korea, done. Okay, they finished. Okay, that's their final destination if they're over there when they jump off, man. All right. So you see how all these things link together, man. Okay, and many more countries, because all these India, Pakistan, all of them. Okay, they're gonna all head their way. And it's gonna be based off the least of the flock drawing them out, man. Okay, and what is it going to lead to? Let's get this. You know how we end these things, and I pray, that it made sense, that everything tied together. I hope it made sense. Okay. So let's go here. Oh yeah. So let's go to Revelation 11. All right. I'm saying everything, ties in. Now this is on Revelation 11 and 14. It said the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. All right, this is where we at, that third woe, which coming quickly. But we know the sea hip, got to be mandated first. Okay, the chaos, the hour of temptation, and then a war. All right, it's gonna wreak havoc in the earth. All right, Revelation 11:15 says, The seven angels sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. Okay, and this is what it all leads up to. Yahweh shall return. Okay, all these nations against nation, ruler against ruler, but then Yahweh Shai is going to come and take all of them down. Okay, He's going to wage war in righteousness against all these heathen militaries, man. Okay, and establish the throne of David eternally in the earth. And Lord will, we endure to be those joint heirs, man. You know, and the men, women, and children that are alive for salvation, all right, be delivered. Okay. So yeah, man, I just want to, touch on that so we can see how all these things tie together. Okay, according to prophecy. All right, and so when we watch these things, we can understand what's going on, and like I say, we can peep the propaganda and the BS. Okay, and have a clear understanding of the narrative according to prophecy and scripture, man. Okay, so Lord will, you brothers and you sisters was edified. Till next time I say shalom, Kwam Yashala, a Bible, detail soon, shalom.